Hey YouTube, it's Mike Pang Gangster here, and today I just want to show you guys a real quick way to understand how to basically double, triple your damage. A lot of people are talking about, for example, getting the right affix on particular items. So, for example, like I look at this particular weapon over here, I got the 69 damage to close enemies, 69 damage to stun enemies, and 63 vulnerable damage, right? So, and plus I got the 78 to all stats. Now, this is basically for my build, like a perfect weapon. And plus it's a 800 plus item power. And it's also got the casting double swing twice within 2 seconds. Gives me the Dust Devil that deals an extra amount of 2,600 damage, right? So this is all based on what I am using as my character build to become stronger, right? So that's the obvious that you're looking for the best bucket damage. So the best bucket damage, we all know critical damage, damage to close enemies, for example, damage to stunned are in the same bucket, but damage to vulnerable, it's a different bucket, right? So, and plus your stats, like for example, strength, that's another bucket. So you're looking to basically duplicate those buckets, right? Not duplicate them, but increase those buckets so you could get extra damage. But the reality is that as you level up, the real damage is going to come from your Paragon board. And the Paragon board, the reason why it's super important is, for example, when you look at the Paragon boards and you look at the glyphs that you put into them, the sockets, a lot of people are going to tell you, for example, max out a glyph to level 25 before you move on to the next glyph. And the answer is actually no. You shouldn't be doing that. What you should be doing, for example, as you're leveling up, you're opening up different boards, and always you should be aiming to get the next socket. The thing is that you should level up your socket to basically level 15. And the reason why you should level them up to 15 and move on to the next one before going to 25 is because 15 is pretty much all you really need at the beginning until the end game at least to be able to actually have the full benefit of that glyph. And the reason for that, as you can see, this particular one, it doesn't cover the whole area, the radius, the red part of what the glyph can basically power, right? Because this glyph here, for example, grants 85 bonus to all magic nodes. So, for example, all these magic nodes here, they're not benefiting from the glyph because my radius is not big enough, and that activates at level 15. For example, when you look at this one, if you look at the red area, it's way, way bigger. And the reason for that is because, for example, the exploit glyph is already level 15, my higher glyph is already 15, and my martial is only 13. And the reason why now I'm starting to basically level them all up to level 15 before moving on to level 25 is because I rather level them up to 15 to get the maximum radius that I need to benefit from the glyph, maximize its power. And once I get all my glyphs to level 15 and all my sockets, most likely I will end up having 5 sockets by the time I reach the fifth board. I will have all my glyphs at level 15. I will be benefiting from pretty much all of them a lot based on the fact that their radius is much more bigger, and and so on. Once you get to have all 5 of them, for example, in my case, you're benefiting a lot of damage from them. Then you move on to basically leveling them up to level 25 one by one. But getting them at level 15 is what basically is going to increase that damage. It's going to basically make that damage output that you're doing go from double to triple, because some of these glyphs are extremely, extremely powerful. Now, there could be some characters that have some classes that have some really good legendary notes. Unfortunate for the barbarian, legendary notes on the boards are anything special. Going for the sockets is just much more important, especially the sockets that grant you stuff like 85% bonus magic to all nodes around it. It just benefits you a lot, especially if you have one, for example, where there's a lot of magic nodes around it. Of course, there's some that's even that have better boards than these, all depending on what you're looking for. So try to focus on your Paragon board and getting the right sockets, glyph, and the sockets that you need, because the amount of damage output you're going to be putting out compared to like just looking at items for the best bucket damage is a big boost. Like, try to focus on your Paragon level. At the same time, you're going to be leveling up anyways, and Nightmare Dungeons are the best way to level up right now since the patch came out. You're getting a lot more experience in the Nightmare Dungeons, and then of course not to worry about it, because as you're leveling up, I've noticed also the fact that as you're leveling up, um, just to basically point the obvious. As you're getting higher and higher, you're just normally just getting stronger. For example, when you were level 79, you weren't as strong as you were 81. The output damage of every level just increases per level. So that's another reason why sometimes you may be like in the low 70s or whatever, and you still don't feel like you're putting out the damage that you want to. But don't not to worry. With the leveling and the Paragon board, you're gonna see those big numbers. So when you're watching these guys that are already level 100, trying to basically show you how to basically duplicate triple your damage and talking only about items, it's very very different for these particular people because these people already have their Paragon maxed out, and the biggest output of their damage came from their Paragon, not exactly from their items. Their items are going to basically benefit the build that you're doing, but the damage output will pretty much come from the Paragon board. The Paragon board is what basically makes you from god to godly. That's the way it works. So hopefully this helps you out and there's more of an understanding to it. So I wish you guys a good day, and I'll see you guys in the future. Bye bye.